My name is Yafet Elamine. I am the Executive Director of MOKAN Construction and Contractors Assistance Center. We are so excited today to welcome a young man who has connected with our organization and the people that we help in utilizing his voice to be a beacon of light for our organization as well as the people that we represent. I have several people that are here live in MOKAN's house with me today that will talk a little bit about who they are, their connectivity to our organization, as well as their connectivity and our connectivity to our dear brother Offset, who is going to be joining us today as he works to use his platform as a strong voice for Black people and a strong voice for our community. So I would like to talk a little bit more about our organization and who we are and what we do so that we give the right underpinnings of understanding to you all who have joined in here today. We are MOKAN Construction Contractors Assistance Center, which is a program based in St. Louis, Missouri. And to bring it home for many of you all, we are probably about 5 miles from Ferguson. And so I'm pretty sure many of you all know Ferguson. And you know Ferguson because it was the resting place of a young brother by the name of Michael Brown, who was an African-American male who struggled to find his place here in St. Louis. As we look at St. Louis is, of course, located in Missouri. Missouri being one of the states that was the last state to free the slaves. And I'd like to say that many of our ancestors, we are still connected with them, and we are still struggling as a people to try to have our right place here in St. Louis and here in America. Why is that relative to MOKAN? Because MOKAN was an institution that started on the heels of Black men who desired to use their trade and use their opportunities to connect their families and feed their families. MOKAN today continues to be that voice of advocacy for Black people here in St. Louis, Missouri, as well as people throughout the state of Missouri. Today, I have with me 4 young people, 2 men and 2 women, who are graduates and 1 student of MOKAN's Construction Pre-Apprenticeship program. And their presence today is important because what I want you to know is that these young people represent you. And by the time we complete talking today, you're going to understand exactly what I mean by that. We have a young lady by the name of Nicole Henry, who is a female operator. Say hello, Nicole.
How y'all doing?
All right. We also have
513.
Okay, local 513. So of course they're going to rep, just like folks rep their sets, they're gonna rep their sets, and their sets basically are representative of who they are in the construction and contractors industry. We also have Sister Sharika Thomas, who is also with us. Give some shouts out, Sharika.
Local 513 all day. Engineer operators, that's us.
All right. And we're going to talk a little bit about operators and who you all are and what that means as it relates to the building and the fabric of construction and even the building of America. And then we also have with us Mark Gainey. Mark, can you give some welcomes?
How y'all doing? It's Local 562 all day.
All right. And we're going to talk a little bit about the plumbers and pipe fitters, which of course is a union that Mark is affiliated with. And then of course we have brought up in the rear, but not representing the back, Brother Terrell Pearson L., who is a current student in MOKAN's class 20. Yes, we have been doing this for 20 classes since May. Was that May, Nicole? You were in class 1. Was that May of 2015?
Yes.
Is that about right? Okay. Yes. May of 2015. Terrell, can you give some shouts out to the people watching us?
How y'all doing? Peace and blessings be upon you all.
All right. So, of course, we have a larger story that we will tell, and we have a young man who will grace his presence along with the people who we have on the screen with you all today. And I would like to say that this is all really by divine order that we are here today, and that I've been with MOKAN for the past 12 years, but never before have we had the outreach from a local celebrity and a national celebrity. Let me say that. And I probably should say an international celebrity. Okay. But why is that important? That's important because we've had a young brother who has connected with us, who wants to use his platform to help bring consciousness and awareness to the plight of African Americans. And not only African Americans, the plight of African Americans in St. Louis, and digging a little deeper in St. Louis construction industry. So let me kind of bring it home a little bit as we talk about using his platform, because over the last 30 years, the workforce in St. Louis's construction industry has only grown 1%, from 7% to 8% of people of color. I'm going to say that again. Over the last 30 years, the workforce in construction has only grown from 7% to 8%, 1% increase in the field of construction, even though the St. Louis city represents a population of more than 55% African Americans. St. Louis County has a total percentage of 30% of minorities total, including Hispanics, Asians, Pacific Islanders, Native Americans. But this industry has only moved 1%. Now let's unpackage that a little bit, because I want you all to understand when we speak about construction, why this is so important. The average construction worker makes $26.22 an hour. I didn't say 12. I didn't say 14. I didn't say 16. The average construction worker makes $26.22 an hour. That is without, and you will hear Nicole talk about it, and you will hear Mark talk about it, those fringes and benefits. So we're not even including their insurance, their medical insurance. As we talk about insurance, today is the last day to get into the Obamacare and the healthcare system. We're looking at people on the screen who look just like many other people of color throughout our community, but they're not struggling with healthcare. As a matter of fact, when we talk about the fringes and benefits, we also talking about their retirement. Because as you will meet Nicole and you will meet Sharika, you also will now hear Nicole talk about her pension. So even though she's here as a young female today, 20 years from now when it's time for her to retire, or 15 years from now when it's time for her to retire, she is just not depending on Social Security income for her retirement. A portion of her wages are going and are being placed aside for her pension. Many people in our community can't even spell pension, hadn't even heard of a pension. What does that even mean? But this opportunity today, as we talk about construction, is providing chances for them, their children, their families now to benefit from the fruit of their labor. Why is this important? Why would Brother Offset even care about connecting to these people, connecting to us. This is not foreign to him because his family, if you will, are connected to construction. So that means his children and his children's children will now reap the benefit of this industry. And now his connectivity to this industry as his desire to ensure that this is an opportunity for other people of color and Black people and people who are sensitive to the needs of Black people to step up and step into an opportunity now for more people who look like you, who look like us, to work in this industry. Over the next 10 years, the statistics are already showing that we are in a worker shortage. Nicole's out there every day in the field. Sharika is just completing her first phase of her apprenticeship program. We cannot train enough people to satisfy the needs of this construction industry. Why is this important? This is important for our community because it provides an opportunity now for young Black men, young Black women, Hispanics, Asians to now utilize this opportunity as a career choice. Construction requires a high school diploma or a GED. A high school diploma or a GED. When in fact, many of the people who are working in construction make more money than people with college degrees, but without the student loans. Construction is also a forgiving trade. We're going to hear from Mark and we're going to hear from Terrell. And I want them to be real transparent about their entry into construction. Right now, we are already looking statistically, and the numbers for African American males are showing that over the next 20 years, that 80% of the prison population will be dominated by Black males. Now, that's a trend that we are trying to reverse in MOKAN. However, for those Black men who have been justice served individuals, construction is a very forgiving industry, which means it will provide them an opportunity now to get a second chance on life, to get a second opportunity now to take care of themselves, to stand up as men, take care of their children, to support their wives, their girlfriends, support their mothers, their grandmothers, and to be the builders and again be the rebuilders of our community. Because let's take it home. Black people built America. It's no secret. We built it when it was free labor. So why can we not believe today that we can build it for pay? This today is about Brother Offset, who has chosen to connect with our organization and speaking and using his platform. Over 19 million people on his Twitter page. 19 million. Which means that we have an opportunity to let 19 million people know that construction is an opportunity to save lives. Carter G. Woodson said a trade for a Black man is the equivalent to a white man's doctorate degree. What did he mean by that? He meant that construction and using your hands is an opportunity for self-sufficiency. You will hear from Nicole, and she'll tell you about how she is now leading a major project called the Delmore Divide, which represents the Delmore Divide. And if you are familiar with St. Louis, you will know that Delmore Boulevard is a line for economic demarcation, that on the south side of the line, it reflects the haves. And on the north side of the line, it reflects the have-nots. And the have-nots are the areas that are largely predominantly populated by African Americans in St. Louis. But she is now working on the project, removing environmental waste outside of it as they move to prepare and clean this building up to now house over 100 apartments within our community. This is a young lady who is using her hands and her skills now to rebuild our community. So I want to talk a little bit and want you to hear a little bit from our guests as we wait for Brother Offset. I was just told, and I'm looking at my phone and see my text messages, he's completing up a photo shoot. So I want y'all to know he's coming. He's going to look real good on this screen when we get to see him. So he's probably coming in some of his best fives and dimes for us. But while we warm the mic up, so any of them young folks out there to understand what I'm talking about, we gonna warm the mic up a little bit for him before we pass it over. So I'm gonna probably start with our most senior person and representing MOKAN Class 1. So I was real young then. That was 5 years ago, and we in 2015 were blessed to receive a grant, a $50,000 grant at the time from Electro Credit and Savings Union. And there was a training program in St. Louis County called the Construction Prep Center. I got to give a little history because I want everybody who's listening to know that we just didn't get here, that people in our communities fought and they went to jail for opportunities for us to stand right here in this space in construction. But the Construction Prep Center was a pre-apprenticeship program that was created in the year 2000 after the shutdown of Highway I-70 or 170, Interstate 170 that happened in St. Louis, Missouri. My predecessor, the president and CEO of MOKAN, Eddie Hassan, led the shutdown of our highway because there was construction work occurring along the highway, but the people who were rebuilding that highway did not resemble any similarities to the people that lived in this community. Along Highway 70, Goodfellow, Salisbury, St. Louis Avenue, Lucas and Hunt, which are areas north that house Black people. We could travel down the highway, but we were not allowed to build the highway. And subsequently, they approached the state of Missouri asking for more inclusion as it relates to the workers as well as the contractors, but we were denied that opportunity. Several months later, after organizing and protesting, more than 300 individuals went to jail on July 12th, 1999. I remember the day because I was one of those 300 people, and that was my first and last time in a paddy wagon. But we went to jail that day because we had to stand up for injustice that was occurring within our community. And from that, the state of Missouri moved forward to put funding in place to start the Construction Prep Center, which operated and trained African Americans and females from 2000 into 2014. And unfortunately, the Construction Prep Center had to close its doors in 2014 before the mission was yet accomplished. However, the closing of the Construction Prep Center provided another opening. You know that saying when they say one door closes and what? And another door opens. And that door then became the opening to MOKAN's MOKAN Construction Pre-Apprenticeship Program. And of course, in Class 1, and Nicole, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we had 4 women when we first started, right?
Yes, we did. Yes.
And I think two of you all,
Three
three
of us graduated.
Okay, three made it too. And after you hear from Nicole, I wanna let all the sisters out there know that this construction industry is wide open for you. Wide open. And I've seen from Nicole, and I want Nicole to tell her story, because Nicole is probably about 5'2". How tall are you, Nicole?
I'm 5'1".
5'1". Okay, I gave her an inch that she didn't have. Okay. But she operates big machinery. That's what an operator does. When she went to training, they had to get a stool for her to stand on so that she can get inside of the big rigs. But I will tell you, regardless of your height, your size, your age, your gender, and let me add to this, construction is one of the only places that a woman gonna make dollar to dollar, dollar for dollar. Day one with her male counterpart. Day one. So Nicole, I'm gonna start with you. You come in with class 1, okay?
Yes.
Tell us your story. Who are you, sister? Who are you?
Okay, thank you, Miss Yafet. First off, I want to say thank you to the Most High, because without him, nothing is possible. But with him, everything is possible. Absolutely. I also want to thank Miss Yafet and MOKAN, because without MOKAN, I wouldn't be in the trade that I'm in right now. I used to work at Walgreens in the pharmacy department. I used to want to be a pharmacist, and but that was like 6 years. So I wanted something short term. There was a short term goal, which was construction. And a lot of guys used to say, "Oh, you don't want to get dirty. That's a dirty trade. Why don't you be electrician?" I was like, "I don't know nothing about electric." But I was like, I'm going to try. So I went to a prestigious school out here in the city called Rankin. It was a trade school. It was the best trade school in Missouri. I went in, I graduated with 2 degrees. And since we being real, people that's from St. Louis know that Rankin, when they started, was for all whites.
Challenges.
They let us in.
Community.
Me attending, it was still some racism at Rankin, but they started this program that helped us be able to talk to different people about dealing with the racism during that time, and they fixed that problem. I graduated with industrial electricity and electronics, and then I went back with the dual degree in control systems technology, because it was some people that said that I wasn't going to graduate with my first degree. So I went back and got the second degree. I did a little bit of electric work. I didn't get to go through the hall at the time because it was a freeze. In 2007, 2008, it was a freeze with the union hall. So I just did a lot of different construction work with different contractors. And again, that field was just a little bit racist because I'm a plus size woman. So a lot of people wouldn't take me serious in that trade. Like, I wouldn't be able to work with you. Girl, you know, all this distraction stuff. And I'm like, I didn't go to school for nothing. Like, I want to learn this skill. I want to learn my trade. Well, fast forward, I went to a career center. And they had introduced me to MOKAN. They was like, it's a pre-apprenticeship. They'll introduce you to all these different trades. And I was like, is electrical one of them? And they was like, yes. So I was like, okay, how do I apply? So you had to take this test and have like the math part. You had to be able to have a high score in your math. And so I did have that. And I got accepted to MOKAN. MOKAN was at the time an 8-week program where they, like I said, introduce you to all the different trades. And it was just a little bit more than that. Like, I built a family with MOKAN. I'm a little nervous, excuse me, but they taught you life skills along with the construction trade. What else?
Come on, tell your story. Come on. Come on. We get ready to get real in here.
So before I got to MOKAN, I also was doing hair. I graduated with my cosmetology license. I was doing hair. But that was just like a hobby for me. And it wasn't like what I really wanted to do because you got to have insurance, I have a 401k, any of that. I got children, so I needed a career. So I went and applied for General Motors. And yeah, I didn't get the job because guess what? I was smoking. And they do hair tests. So that hit home for me. It's like you too old to not be able to get a job because you want to smoke reefer.
So right. So let's talk about it because she called it reefer, but some of y'all call it that loud. Okay, you call it that ooh. You call it that steak. You know what it is. Okay.
Yeah, pressure.
And we know then, Nicole, 5 years ago, it wasn't legal in the same way as it is now. But as you are now operating, what's that machine you driving now that when I was running past you the other day? What is that called?
It's a big old telehandler.
It's a big telehandler.
And they call it a law, but it's a telehandler.
And you had it at least how many feet in the air was that big bucket? And you had to be at least about 80, 90 feet up in the
air. Because I was on the 5th floor of that building.
And that building has 7 floors.
Yes.
Okay. But as you're talking about at that time not wanting to give up the smoking, people can die operating that big equipment because they paranoid. That you know what it is when you getting high and you tripping and there you go, you hit the wrong button and it's over. Okay.
Yeah.
So in you giving up, because not only are you at risk with your own life, from my understanding, you got big pieces of equipment that you putting up on those floors.
Yes.
And you taking things out that could be environmental hazards for people around you.
Yes.
But so let's dive a little bit into it. So at the time you were smoking, so what made you stop? I mean, why was this enough for you? I mean, what?
It was enough. It was enough because it didn't feel right in my spirit that I couldn't get the job that I wanted at the time because I couldn't pass a hair test. Although I had quit 90 days before I applied, marijuana can stay in your hair up to 6 months. And so that caused me getting hired at General Motors. So I was like, I need to take a different look. I got to do something different. And so when I went to the Career Center and got it, they told me about MOKAN. I was like, well, let me get back into the electrical trade.
You sure did.
Well, when I got into the program, electrical was what I was on. But again, they introduced you to so many different trades. One of the trades was the operator's trade. And I always wanted to know, like, how do you get them type of jobs? I thought it was something that the city did, like a city job. But when I found out they had their own training facility and all of that, I was like, I want to apply for that. And, they said, go ahead. And the first thing I asked was, because I'm late in the construction game, like, I wish I knew about the construction game in my early 20s. Man, I'm 46, so I'm late. When I went to ranking, I was in my middle 30s. So
you ain't late. You right on time. It's no accident.
You're right. I'm right on time. But
so kind of seasoned experience.
I asked them. I said, was my age a factor? Was my weight a factor? The fact that I'm a female? And the only thing that my instructor said was, no, ma'am, just your height. He was like, you might have a problem with that because I'm so short. But anything else, he was like, no, ma'am, you will do fine if there's something that you want to do. Mm-hmm. And so getting accepted into that program, they want to know if you have hand and eye coordination, if you can be able to run the equipment. And I started progressing through, the pre-apprenticeship program. They want to see if you lazy, what's your work ethic. I always had a good work ethic. I've been working since I was 14. So that wasn't a problem. No, I'm not lazy. I chase that bag. So, as you all say, chasing a bag.
Right. Tell them.
So I kept progressing through, but all along though, I still thought about like I want to still do the electrical. So I was in between both of them because with the operators, it's a process. Like you don't just get right in. So I made it through indenture week. Then I made it through first it was pre-apprenticeship week. That was the week.
So
Then
I have to tell you, I have to put you on pause
okay.
because I told you guys earlier that I just wasn't gonna let you skim past your life. Okay. And I'm saying that because when Brother Offset gets here, he ain't finna skim past his life. And because he has afforded us this opportunity to connect with the people that he's connected to, I can't let you skim past it because they need to see who they are and the you in them. So I have to have you to pause because our classes started from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we would teach you that if you were not here by 6:30, no later than 6:45, that you were late. But I also recall some challenges that you had in math. Come on, Black people. Okay? Yeah. Because that's one of the areas, even though we were the first astronomers, the first mathematicians, society has taught you that you in math are disconnected. The only thing you can count is money. You need to be able to count that, but other things as well. But I remember, come on, mother.
Yes.
Every day after class, staying after class, practicing because you knew that your math score
had to be
there.
So in the beginning, my numbers was supposed to be good enough to get in. But of course, they always try to find a way to keep us down or stop us from doing what we need to do. So it came up that our math scores had to be higher in order to get in the program and continue to be in the program. So yes, I stayed out there every day so my scores can get up, and I got them scores up.
Absolutely.
We had a tutor for us. So yeah, I utilized the tutor to help us pass our math keys. It was something called work keys at the Career Center. And they wanted you to have a 80 or better, but at first it was a 70 or something like that. But they wanted it to be high. And so yeah, I did that.
So you stayed after school to do that. And now I'm gonna get a little bit in your business because I need to let these moms and women and other people really see you because you were staying after school to do that. However, take us home. Take us home.
Okay, so I have three children. I have a son that is 29. I have a 22-year-old daughter and I have an 11-year-old son. So when I first got to MOKAN, I was dealing with some personal issues. My son had just went to prison. No, as a matter of fact, he ended up going to prison. Was it 2016, Ms. Yafet? So I think I started the program.
Right. You had finished the program and your son was
but I was in my first year apprenticeship with the operators, and I would come still. I still had a connection with MOKAN. I would still come and talk to the classes. But but before he back up, my 22-year-old and my 11-year-old, I worked at FedEx and I had to work that twilight shift. So that was like 2:33 in the morning till 6:30, or sometimes 1 to 6. And I still had to, once I got off there, I had to come to MOKAN, and then stay to MOKAN till 3 or later than that when I had to do the tutoring and stuff for the math. And then after that, again, I did her. That was my hustle to pay my bills and stuff because, again, MOKAN taught you to be able to.
Can you hear me, Nicole? It sounds like you are. Can you all hear Nicole good, or is it just me?
I can hear it.
Okay. All right. It sounded like you were, it looked like it was freezing. So it looked like it was freezing. Okay. Go ahead, Nicole. Let me see if I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Mic check. Do I still sound like I'm freezing? I don't know.
Okay, let's try it again, Nicole. Go ahead. You had mentioned that your son had went to prison within your first year of your apprenticeship.
Yes, but I'm still going back to before that when I got here, because remember he was using my car and picking me up on the days that we had to work out and stuff. Like MOKAN had us working out, MOKAN had us eating healthy. Man, MOKAN had us doing a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, back to, she made me lose my train of thought. What was I? My 22-year-old, my 11-year-old. What happened to FedEx? I'm sorry. Working at FedEx, and then that twilight shift, getting off, going to do hair, helping him with his homework, just being a single parent with a minimum support system. Like my mom was my support system. My dad for is just encouraging me, because I don't have anybody in the trade. I'm the only one that decided to do the operator's trade. I don't have anybody in the electrical trade. It's just me. And I want to say, like, for those who think they can't do something, you can do whatever you put your mind to, because a person, their fear, they'll talk you out of something because they're fearful that they can't do it. Like, I tell my mother all the time, she's my biggest supporter, but she also will talk you out of something. Like, she didn't think I could do the electrical. When I was redoing her fixtures and her outlets and stuff, she was like, dog, my baby an electrician. When I did the operators, she was like, oh, you too big, you too short. How you gonna be able to do that? Your knees bad. I'm like, lady, stop.
Right.
I'm doing it. I'm in the program. I'm doing it. Like, stop. But then now that I graduated, that's all she brag about. My baby operate heavy equipment.
So Nicole, so you were able to, throughout the program, graduate from MOKAN. You decided that you would then go into the operator's trade and no longer be in the electrical trade. And
yes. Okay, so Miss Yafet dad was just insisting on me doing the electrical, and I kept telling him, no, I like the operators. I want to do the operators. And I was the only one out of the class who decided to pick the operators. So to me, I feel like that was important too, because I was representing not only myself, but I was representing MOKAN as well. And I didn't want to get into something and then not finish it. So MOKAN was like a motivation for me too, because they was proud that this is something that I had applied for and I kept with it. So, and then I'm grateful, without MOKAN and 513, I wouldn't be where I am right now. Like, I still have a ways to go, for as like I'm in low income housing, but I'm working so I could buy me a house. I'm saving my money. All the overtime. I have been blessed throughout my apprenticeship to hold down work for a company that carried me most of my duration, working 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, 10 and 12 hours a day, maybe sometimes 14 hours a day. And me having my mom as my support system to watch my baby, or my daughter to help him with his homework when I couldn't, because again, all those hours I was doing, I was still doing her too. When I worked from 3 to 12 or 3 to 2 in the morning, I got up, I got him ready for school at 7. Then my first client to be at 8. I did from 8 to 12. That's enough time for me to shower, eat, and then go to work and do it all over again. And then when my daughter went to college, I get off work at 12 or 2 in the morning, jump on the highway to get her from TSU, come back, have to work Saturday at 2 o'clock, do that Sunday, send her back to TSU, Monday, do it all over again. So it's endless. Like, if you want it, you can get it. Like, don't make excuses for yourself. Just, you got to think positive, speak positive, and just hustle if you want it. You don't have to let your background be an issue, or because you done been to prison. Because best believe, before my son went to prison, he had just made it in the electrical trade. He had took his test, he had passed. But again, people make mistakes. But with this trade, like Ms. Jaffe said, is forgiving. They don't care about your felony backgrounds. All they want to know is that you can show up and be on time. Like, okay, we are a minority. They need us, but they really need like with females, we the double minority. If you come to work and show out all that affirmative action, yeah, that's good. But when you see me on that site, you gonna know that I know what I'm doing too. I'm just not on her because of the color of my skin. I'm on her because I like what I do and I do good at what I do. I show up on time. I was with a company and I fractured my foot, but because I showed up on time and I never missed work, I got to be in the air conditioner for 6 weeks. Who gonna let you stay on the job site for 6 weeks and you doing nothing but studying? Yeah, I made use of my time. I was studying for my crane certification, but there's not a company that's just gonna let you get paid for 6 weeks sitting, twiddling your thumbs or doing whatever. So, but my work ethic showed, and he liked me enough to keep me on that site. So whatever you put your mind to, you could do it, male or female.
So Nicole, what would you say to other African American females about construction? What would you say when people say I don't see myself out there? Why do I believe that I could do it? What would you say to them?
Why? Say it again, because you breaking up, Miss Yafet.
I said, what would you say to?
It went out again.
Can you hear me now, Nicole?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. That's all I can hear is, can you hear me now?
I'm going to try it again.
Okay.
What would you say to other African American females about this trade? What would you say to them about this opportunity? Would you encourage them, or what was the words that you would give to them about construction? Is it something that you would say need more females, or something that you would believe would be too difficult for most females?
Nothing is ever too difficult if you put your mind to it and it's something that you want to do. Yeah, you're going to face challenges. I face challenges all the time considering my height and my weight. But I don't let my skin color be an issue, because with the Most High have for me, nobody can take that. So yeah, if you want to work in construction as a Black female or just a woman, period, then by all means, I say yes. The money is great. Ain't no denying it. The benefits are great, but I also love what I do, because again, most women is not operating heavy equipment. Like, I always want to do stuff that most women can't do. Like my mother said, why you just didn't go be a nurse? Or nah, I want to get dirty. Like, I want to do something that the next female or male say that you can't do, that I can do. And I've been fortunate that being an operator, I haven't dealt with any type of racism, like with my own color or the opposite color. Like, I've been blessed to say that I'm loved on the construction site, no matter what site I go to. Like, I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna shine. I'm gonna be on time, before time. I'm gonna stay late. Like, I'm gonna do what it is that I gotta do. And anybody can. Like I said, if I can do it, anybody can, because I came in not knowing nothing about the construction game. And I want to take it further. Like, I want to own my own construction company. I want to operate the tower crane. I want to still do my electrical. Like, nah, I ain't throw that away. I just set it to the side for a second. But I'm going to do both. My hair, I want to own my own salon. Like, 2021 is going to be something different.
And in this space, this is exactly what it's about: owning your own, being your own, and being able to take your life's vision and your dreams to be more than what you thought that you could be. And I appreciate your story, Nicole, and part of that.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I have to say it as we are waiting and welcoming our brother Offset and all the friends who have joined us today. Know that we can only do this with your support. And as our brother Offset has lent his voice to our mission. As you hear about Nicole, and she has a daughter that's now at school in Tennessee that's working on her bachelor's degree, and all of that becomes possible now because her mother is helping to provide and financially sustain that her daughter. And that's a part of what we are doing here in MOKAN, helping to build communities, building families. But we cannot do this alone. We need your support. So as you listen to Nicole and as you listen to our other students and Brother Offset, who's joining us very soon, I also want you to log on to MOKAN at MOKANCCAC.org. And we're going to put that in the chat because this program would not be here without the support from brothers like Offset and you. So give today as we are coming on our 46th anniversary dinner this Friday. We're asking for you all to not only contribute to our efforts, because one of the things that Nicole didn't mention, but I'll mention it to you, was that even though she went to one of the top technical schools, she had to pay for that. And the efforts at MOKAN, we bring all of our students through and they don't have to pay a dime, but it's only because of the fundraising efforts, the support from you all, the support from the community that makes it possible. You have people in our community who believe, why would we support a program for grown folks? Let's be real clear. A lot of people believe, well, we're going to help Black folks, but they're going to be Black kids. You grown, you on your own. But we believe in second chance opportunities here. So I want you to know that each student that comes through this doors, as Nicole mentioned, food that we offered, helping to keep her sustained, the training that we offer, the certifications that we offer. We can only do that with the support from the community. So we are asking you, whether that's $5, $15, $500, however God leads your heart today, to please go to our website, see who we are and what we do. Again, that's www.MOKAN.CCAC.org. So that's MOKAN Construction Contractors Assistance Center.org. So Nicole, we're gonna come back to you because I am gonna I want Brother Offset to hear a little bit more about you and your story and how you are changing lives and opening doors for other Black females to come into the operators. So I'm going to come back to Sharika because I know she is also following in your footsteps to become an operator. But I'm going to go over here to my brother, Mark Gainey, who has come through class 16 and is now in the plumbers and pipe fitters apprenticeship program. So let's talk about those plumbers and pipe fitters, Mark. And you have an interesting story to tell because you came to MOKAN, and I think prior to you coming to MOKAN, you had sat down for a while, as we call it in the community. Tell us about your story. Who are you, Mark?
Well, I want to say thank you, Ms. Jaffet, for giving me the opportunity to come to MOKAN and just believing in me. So I started off, how I heard about MOKAN is when I was incarcerated. I had did 3 years. I had got locked up in 2016. My original charges, I had 2 assaults, 2 robberies, 2 ACAs, and a discharge shooting at a motor vehicle.
Hold on, you went through all those alphabets real fast now. Hold on. I'm just trying to track this now. You had assaults?
Yeah, I had 2 first-degree assaults, 2 robberies, 2 ACAs, armed criminal action. And I had
and you said something about an ACA. What are those acronyms for?
An ACA is an armed criminal action. It's up. Can y'all hear me?
So you one of them brothers. You were one of them brothers that when folks would see you, they'd be scared. They trying to cross the other side of the street. They don't think you got a wrench in your hand trying to fix their pipes and put water in their house. You were trying to take something from.
Yeah, that's what they thought.
Okay. Come on, tell us your story. Who are you today? Who is the real you? That was just something you were going through. But who are you?
That's what I was going through. Like I tell everybody, prison was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like going there, I changed a lot. Like prison taught me a lot. Sitting down for them 3 years, I really humbled myself. I patiently preserved myself. And I really got a chance to sit down and find out who I was. And throughout that experience, it was hard, but I just learned a lot of patience, and I learned that I don't want to go back no more. I like my freedom. So when today, I'm just a humble man. I'm a God-fearing man. I just want to work hard for what I do. I don't want to take the easy route out. I don't want to dab and do this and have one foot in the streets and one foot out. I want to fly straight the whole way. And by me coming to MOKAN, getting a fresh start, y'all really helped me out. Like, I ain't have a construction idea. Like, all I know is I wanted to be a plumber, because I always want to know, like, where the water go? Where's the water go at when you flush the toilet? So, so when I came here, I got to learn about all the different trades. I learned about electricians, operators, carpenters, and I still wanted to do plumbing. And I showed up here. I showed up on time. I ain't miss a day. I never was late.
So you didn't show up on CP time. What's the on time CP? So what's the difference?
If you on time, you late. So you better be here before time. They say 15 minutes early, but I come 30 because I like to drink a little coffee.
That's right.
Right here. So, I like to chill, talk a little bit before I start school and work. So I showed up here. I showed up here on time every day. I ain't miss a day. And when it was time to get hired, Hanif had called me to the back and was like, "Man, this company want to hire you." And they end up being Pace Construction. They mostly do like asphalt on the highway. They got operators too, and they do concrete.
So you just weren't robbing the block, you building the blocks now. You building the streets now. You just weren't robbing the streets, you building the streets now.
Yeah, I'm building the streets now. Like I be telling people, like, back then I used to play with some tools, but now I play with a whole different set of tools today.
Absolutely.
I love what I do. Like, I had to pick something that I can wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I can drive and I can be like, yeah, I can enjoy doing this. Because I don't want to go to work and be like, oh, I got to do this again. So it's just something I like doing, something I love doing. I'm very passionate. Like, whatever they want me to do, I'm going to be the best at it. Like, if they tell me to go sweep the floor, I'm going to have that floor spick and span.
Today, huh?
But yeah, it's just.
So you're working for who now?
I work for Corrigan.
For Corrigan. And for people who are outside of St. Louis, Corrigan probably, I know, is at least 50, 75-year-old company. They are, if anything, in plumbing and mechanical, they have a long history of working in the field, in the industry. And I believe you're working on a large project called the Foundry. Are you on the Foundry project?
Yes, ma'am. We right there on Forest Park over there. Like, it's like the Central West End. It's right across the street from IKEA. They doing like a real big project over there. Right now we on that. I'm plumbing the Foundry. It's like a little store called the Deli Store. It's gonna be like a deli store. It's gonna be a grocery store right on the top of it. So I've been there since the beginning. We was the first one there. Me and the operators, they was digging out the holes for if we can lay our pipes out. Plumber's the first one at the job site, and look like we're gonna be the last ones there too. So,
so let me make sure that for our listeners, they can really see you. And I appreciate just the authenticity that you all are coming with today, because I want our listeners, I want all of Offset's followers and fans to recognize this brother rolled out at least about 4 or 5 different offenses. And I'm saying that not because he still lives there, but because there is somebody watching us who is there and who is not clear on a different path. And I want you to know today that just as Mark chose a different path and a different path opened up for him, that the same is for you. So as you talk about what's not there for your community, what's denied to you, how other folks holding you down, and the racism, the sexism, all the isms, I want you to know that all you have to do is get out of your own way. You heard Mark say he felt that prison was probably the best thing to happen to him. It probably saved his life. Because he was on a path for destruction and it slowed him down. And now today, he is rebuilding community. Let's talk about plumbers. You cannot build a building without a master plumber. You can't get an occupancy license without a master plumber.
That's right.
So that's just like you going to the hospital. You can't get operated on without the doctor or the surgeon. So as Mark is now an apprentice, he will move from being an apprentice going into being a journeyman. And I hope that he continues because he can then acquire his master plumber's license. And with that license now, that is the equivalent to a lot of power and a lot of money. So Mark, what would you say to other young Black men and women about this construction? And what will you say was the one thing that was your strong takeaway from MOKAN and what we taught you inside the program?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last question.
I said, what would you say, what would be your one major takeaway about MOKAN and what you were taught in the program and what you learned? Okay,
the first question, what I would tell like other males and females about construction is that, you know, it's whatever you want to do, I say get into it. You know, pick a trade that you like, pick something that you can wake up in the morning and come do. Because you get paid every weekend, you gonna make some money if you stick to it, and you ain't gotta duck the police to get the money neither. So if you want to do something legit and you want to make a lot of money, and it don't matter if you got felonies or whatever, like they said, it's the most forgiving people in the world. Like you see, I done had 3 construction jobs with the felonies that I got. So I say go for it. Pick one, pick something that you like and just go for it. Try to master, try to perfect, try to be the best at it. And
so it's not just about the money. The money will come when you're doing something that you like to do, when you're doing something that you feel is bringing value to you.
Yeah. Pick a trade that you like to do, that you can wake up in the morning and come do.
So I need you to talk to your brothers that are on the fence, because you named about almost every letter in the alphabet, okay? And what you were into before you laid down. If you had an opportunity today to talk to brothers who are in the streets, what do you think you can offer them to choose a different path and to help save them their lives? You talk about not worrying about the police being behind your back. That I don't know what more peace of mind you can be in and not to feel as though somebody will come and take your freedom. But what can you offer? What can you say to so many brothers that's choosing to beat the streets, choosing to sell dope, rob from the community, pilferage from the community, and not stand in their rightful place in this community? What can you offer to any of those brothers who might be followers of Offset and listen to his music as he's connected with us today? What words do you have for them?
I can just tell them, like, the streets ain't the way. It's either 2 things gonna happen to you. You're gonna end up dead or in jail. Especially how hard you're going in the streets, you spend most of your time there. It's only 2 things that can happen to you. So all I can say is to the young brothers and sisters out there, just patiently preserve yourself. Just be patient. Find you a career. Don't indulge into street activities, and just want to do the right thing. I know everybody wants something fast. Everybody want some fast money. Y'all see the rappers. Y'all be on Facebook and Instagram, and y'all see people flashing money and all that. I mean, them rappers and stuff, they work hard for their stuff. It ain't just fall out the tree. And everybody ain't gonna be no rapper. Everybody ain't gonna go that route.
Absolutely.
I just want y'all to, man, just find you a job, find you something that you good at, even if it's working at McDonald's. If you're gonna work at McDonald's, move up in that, become a manager and end up owning you at McDonald's. I just feel like whatever y'all want to do, patiently, because the money gonna come, you gonna get older and you're gonna get wiser. So right now, all I can give y'all is wisdom and experience of what I've been through. And
How old are you, Mark?
I'm 26.
The wisdom and experience from a 26-year-old. You can't get that anyplace else. Come on. Somebody put in the chat, he said, patiently preserve yourself. That was heavy. Some of y'all missed that. Did you hear him? Patiently preserve yourself. Because you got this one body. And he said, be patient with it and preserve it. Ain't nothing like some good preserving yourself, taking good care of yourself. Let's talk about that. We're talking about construction now. That means your body got to be right. But he also said he liked to get to work early because he got to get his mind right. You didn't hear me say I like to have my cup of coffee. I like to have my conversation, right? And I got to get my mind right because in MOKAN, we're teaching an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. Don't get on somebody's job site and lay down and not contribute, not give your best self. Because let's be real clear. There is a misnomer in our community that Black people are lazy, that we don't want to work, that we just want something for nothing, that we feel that we're entitled. This is not the essence of who we are as a people. However, we know culturally and socially things have happened and we've gotten out of alignment with our natural essence of who we are as a people. So I want you to hear the, how old are you, Mark? 21?
I'm 26 years old.
26. Patiently persevere. Be patient with it. And he's giving some words because his life has now taken him to a place where he's taken some ownership. And I want all the young brothers to know that if you out there in the streets, you don't have to stay there. You got a choice. Come on over to this side. He laid down, he did his time, and he said, I wanted to do something different. You don't have to go to jail to choose to do something different. All you have to do is change your mind and what you tell yourself. We're in St. Louis, Missouri, but there are opportunities for construction apprenticeships all throughout the nation. Step into this space, step into this place. So, Mark, we are proud of you, and MOKAN salutes you. We are thankful that you are here today. We want our listeners, as well as the people who are following us today, to again know that Mark did just not get here on his own. Mark got here because of the efforts that other people have taken to get here. And in order for MOKAN to stay in existence, for us to continue to train other men and women, we need your support. Brother Offset has connected you all with us today. And as Mark said, the rapping ain't easy. And we hope when he gets here and gets off his photo shoot, he's going to come and talk about his walk. Because we know that his walk was not easy. It looks like a lot of glitz and glamour, but we know that it took effort and might and muscle for him to get there. And for all of you all who want to continue to support us, again, I'm going to ask you to go to www.mokanccac.org. Once again, that's mokanccac.org to donate. Because what we are doing is changing lives. Let's talk about saving the state money, saving the feds money. Mark, were you in federal or state?
I was in the state.
Okay, he was in the state. So the average inmate, we're spending $35,000 a year on the average inmate. Mark, what you making a year? I don't want to necessarily get in your business, but I know you making more than 35, and now you paying taxes on that money too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now we've taken this young man from off of a form of welfare, because now, as the state now was taking care of him, he is now working, contributing, paying city, state, and federal taxes. Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am. I got 3.
Come on now, well, let's talk about them babies. So now we have a father who is also now ensuring that his children are taken care of. Are these girls?
Yes, ma'am. I got a 9-year-old girl.
Come on, tell me about the babies.
I got a 9-year-old girl, 7-year-old son, and a 4-year-old daughter.
Okay. This is what we are producing. We are producing Black men who are working, who are pursuing career opportunities, who are taking care of their families. So not only is he taking care of himself, now those babies can get to the doctor. They can get to the dentist, get the teeth cleaned. They can go to the doctor if they needed to get that wellness exam, that checkup. Now daddy can go and step in his rightful space. When it's time for school, he not ducking and dodging. If he's helping out that sister, we ain't even got to go in that court system talking about child support, because he's supporting on his own, because he understands his rightful place as a father, and he feels better as a man. Mm-hmm. This is what we are producing. We are changing the image that our society has perpetuated about our young Black men. Mark is 26 years old, 3 children, and he is not only a male, he is being a man, and not just a dad, he is being a father. So once again, MOKAN is blessed to be able to bring men like Mark onto this other side, and that other side of protecting and providing and encouraging the community. So we're getting ready to move on. And as we are continuing to tell this story, we're going to have this mic real good and hot when Brother Offset gets on here for us, because we got 2 other people that I want to introduce you all to. And the next, I'm going to introduce you to Sister Sharika Thomas, who is also with class 16. And I will tell you, she has a story. So Sharika, welcome.
Hello. Yes. First, I want to thank you for all you and the rest of the activists done for us as a whole, and for my chance and opportunity to be here. I also want to thank you personally for getting on my derriere in reference to my village with my children. Short and simple, I don't know, Ms. Shafet, if you know, but I too am an ex-felon. I did 2 penitentiary bits, and the last time I came home, I was just like, they ain't got no more of my time. You know, I was done with it. But so it was easy to find any type of ends and odd jobs just because I came home and I needed money. I did petition work. I did, temp services, just that type of stuff. Fast forwarding a little bit, I got with somebody. I had my first child with that person. He ended up getting killed. I went into a depression for 2 years, almost 3 years. Within that depression, I ended up conceiving another child. I don't believe in abortions, so now I'm stuck with what am I going to do? I'm living in the house of my grandmother, which is really my first child's grandmother, but she took us in. You know, my family, they was there a little bit, but to check on me to see how I was doing. But as far as you need this or a house over your head, my oldest daughter, her family took us in. I stayed in that depression for a little bit. And like I said, I ended up conceiving another child, but I was like, whoa, now I'm conceived with another child in a depression in this lady's house, and it's not her blood. I was just like, what I'm gonna do? I had to just do something, and I just knew I had to get my life back. All that crying and all that stuck under China was over with, So basically, I had signed up for TANF, welfare, which is money from the state. And in order to do that, you have to jump through a whole bunch of needle-sized hoops and all that type of stuff. So they had me taking a class all the way out at the old Northwest Plaza. So basically, I had to try that. One of the things was, what do I see myself doing the rest of my life? I might not look it, but I'm 35, and I had never thought of anything I could do the rest of my life, because I too come from the streets of, robbing, thugging, selling drugs, all that good old stuff. Well, bad stuff for real. But I just was like, well, I wanted to go back. I was like, I can go back to the nursing industry, but with my felons being assaults, I would have to jump through a lot of even more hoops. And I'm like, I don't want to do it just because I know that's a check. You always gonna need nurses. So basically, I was just like, I had to really think, like, what can I do? And I was like, well, I remember back when I was in high school, I used to always do workshops and wood classes and just build different stuff. And, I was a handyman. I worked on airplanes and cars with my grandfather growing up. Just got all these trades and skills, but never knew really what it was in the work field, because I just chose the streets. So basically, I was just like, construction. I was like, okay, I like to build stuff. So I started it came to me. I took off. I researched construction schools and prep schools and stuff. It was MOKAN, it was Bud. And long story short, I talked to the man at the Bud program. It was just kind of high, dry, and cut, just about their paper. I actually talked to Mr. Hanif, who works here at MOKAN, and he told me that they were going to have, a briefing, or the things that you guys do at the Boys and Girls Club. So I actually went down there to talk to Mr. Hanif, 9 months pregnant, well, probably 8.5 months pregnant was the first time I seen this man. And he just made me feel really sincere. He made me feel like I had hope, like I wasn't a lost cause because of everything that I had built up and put on my negative, checklist. So
he told me you told him I'll see you after I had this baby.
Yeah, I actually told the people from McCarthy it would be funny if I get hired with them, because the man and the lady was looking at me. I'm like, okay, so I'm about to walk myself into labor early so I can make sure I go to this class. And, they probably was like, wow, she crazy. But anyway, I had it all figured out. I was going to have, because at the time, the class was scheduled to start before I would have been able to. So it all worked out to where I ended up having my baby on time. I didn't go in early. Had my little baby, came to the class getting ready to start, got all my paperwork done. So now I come to the fact that I was living in another state, even though I was using this, a local address over here. So instead of making it 10 times harder for myself and staying where I was at and taking the girls to daycare and then coming to class myself, I moved out of my grandmother's house into a shelter on this side, so I could be closer to the school and make everything work in reference to getting the girls to daycare and then me still getting here. Supposed to be early, but I was late. I mean, I was here at 7, but that's still late. You know what I'm saying? Construction time, 15 or 30 minutes before. That's on time.
And I remember us having a conversation about your situation and you promising me that you were going to get through this program, and when it was time for you to work, you were going to have that child care situation taken care of. But I appreciate you pausing and letting people know. And let's be clear, you were in a shelter.
Yes, ma'am.
A shelter, a women's shelter, yes, when you decided to still come into this program.
I everything was working to where the class would start after I had my baby and after I was able to get the girls to daycare. So I said, with everything lined up to where it was it's meant for me to come. So yes, I moved out of my grandmother's house with my I think at the time 3-year-old and my 6-week-old baby, and we moved into the shelter downtown North St. Louis, straight in the hood. A hood I'm from, but nonetheless. I just took off. I didn't look back. It was times I came and I was like, F this. I can't do it, because Miss Shafet don't care what your struggle is. You got to be here on class. I
wanna pause there because I want people to know that some of you all have to be okay with the contrast so that you can move and graduate into the comfort.
Mm-hmm.
See, a lot of you all feel as though everything is always supposed to be comfortable. You don't want to stretch. You don't want to be pulled. I want you to be clear. She moved out. And even though it was not the most comfortable situation, but she moved out of her grandmother's house into a shelter to be closer to the training program that she knew she needed to graduate from so that she can be one step closer to comfort for her and her daughters. So let's be real clear that she made a conscious decision to be uncomfortable so that later on in life she could ease into the comfort. So for those women who may not have the comfort of their own homes now, and you're afraid to step out and move into a place of discomfort, look at Sharika and know that, and she ain't even done telling the rest of her story yet, but know that because of her willingness to step into a place that, in essence, we're talking about a shelter. So how many women were you living with then?
Luckily I did a little bit of researching and I was able to find a non-for-profit shelter, which still the means is still a shelter. It just was a little bit more kind of more so of an apartment, I guess, but it was still at least 8 to 12 other women, and then some had children. Not everybody got mannerism with their kids, and some was a little bit ruly, but hey, that wasn't my problem. I had to that was just a little small thing. It was a lot of times I wanted to quit. It was a lot of times I was like, it's not worth it. It was a lot of times I was just like, I can't go no more. I don't have it in me. I'm tired. Like, I'm sleep deprived. I'm whatever. I could think of.
I don't have anybody. I'm doing it by myself. When you talk about the village, and I would tell you, you got to get a village. You got somebody. Right. You have people. You just have to open yourself up. You just have to humble yourself, because some of this is about our discomfort with asking. And our discomfort with standing in our truth and telling our story. And so some of this is about our ability to allow other people in to help. Because as you were now able to say, this is where I am, I'm staying in a shelter. Now we can open our arms and help you because you stepped into the truth and you were not trying to mask your situation.
Right.
That's growth on your part as a mother, as a woman. So you got through this program, though, and you brought them little babies to the graduation.
Yes.
So tell us, where are you now?
Man, I still got a long way to go, but to me, I'm on cloud nine. It's crazy.
Where you are.
No matter what you do, whatever choice, like Mark said, if you want to go to McDonald's, be the best burger flipper, button presser, because they really don't flip the burgers, they press the button. But be the best button presser that you can ever dream of. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you do, you just have to do it beyond expectations so you can stand out from the rest of the threshold. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to do it with faith in yourself, knowing that, like, okay, I'm doing this because I want to get to a step B or part C. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's going to be a lot of hurdles to overcome, and it's going to be people trying to turn me down. People going to be jealous. Some people going to try to help me, but it might be an alternative motive. Whatever it is, like, you have to really stick to yourself. Like, I don't know how to say it as good as Mark said it, and patiently preserve yourself. But I say, you got to keep the bigger picture in mind and just stay true to yourself, because anything in life that's worth having is not going to come easy. You know what I'm saying? And if it come easy, for real, I don't want it, because if it came, it can go that easy, So I just always kept the bigger picture in mind. And it's like, I'm a 2-time felon and I got a 50% behind me. So that means if anything happened, I also have the jacket as a violent offender, so I can go out these doors. I could get jumped by 4 people, and I'm still going to have to I'm going to get a charge behind it because I'm a prior and persistent, and I've got that jacket on me. So that means if they give me a year, I'm doing half of that year. If they give me 10 years, I'm doing half of that 10 years. And, it's just like when I was incarcerated, the biggest thing that was before I had kids, I just was like, I used to just see these kids come in and visit their moms, and I used to see the moms when they leave, some of them was sad, some of them didn't care, but I'm just like, I'm glad that I didn't do that to my kids, that I didn't have them to after the fact, because that is damaging children. They see, your child grows by what they see, whether they're watching you or whether they're watching the streets, that's what they're going to end up growing into. So I'm just, it's just keep the bigger picture in there. And it's like, my life is not my life anymore. I have 2 beautiful girls that I don't want no harm to come to them. I don't want them to experience half the things I've experienced in my life, whether it be a domestic relationship, whether it be going to the shelter for a better cause to get to a better place. I still don't want them to have to go through that. So I just try to keep the bigger picture in mind and know that it's not my life. My life has become my children's life. And I just also like to see my community doing better. And I like to help people. I just going outside seeing destruction is just like, it made me want to tear up for real. So I'm just glad that I'm blessed to have still be weathering some of my storm. But you asked, I get a little long-winded. You asked where we at now. In short, I'm on cloud 9. I took my class, what was that? We graduated December of 2017, Mark?
Yeah,
Or was
that was 19.
Yeah, we graduated 2018 in December. I was still in the shelter. Like I said, I didn't have transportation. I was in the shelter, all of that. So in just a short but long year, I have a vehicle for my children. We have our own house for my children. Well, we have our own place. It's not a house, but still we have our own. They have their own
Call
room.
that a house. We're gonna call that a house, and we're gonna take that as a house.
It's mine.
We know what the shelter was, and now right. I think if anybody knows what a house is, it's you.
Yes, this is how we have our own home. Whatever it is,
we're gonna make that home. Yes.
And then I also have been accepted into the union. I started my first crane class in my first audit in March of next year. But I also, until then, I've been blessed to be working. It's just a little liquor store, but it's still an income that's preparing me. Like, it's all leading up. It's a small check right now, but that's even better because I'm still learning how to budget everything with, coming from absolutely nothing at one point because I had lost it all. And then it really came forth kind of, I got it all at one time too, because my truck came, then 2 weeks later we was in our house, and then a month and a half later I was accepted to the union. So it's just all the steps that add up to that you got to take to get you where you are. You know what I'm saying? You just have to patiently preserve yourself, stay true to yourself, and keep your bigger picture in mind.
Absolutely. And how about you shutting that door, slamming that door on recidivism? So you've made a commitment that you're not going back into the penal system. And even bigger than that, because we all know the statistics, over 80% of the people who are incarcerated, their children follow them into penal institutions and into incarceration. So you made a conscious decision that this door is going to be closed for you and your children, and your work today is a testament to it. So even though Nicole came in class 1 and you're in class 16, you all definitely need to connect and know each other, because I want to say, and Nicole, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you may have been the only African-American female in your class, right? When you went, was it another African-American female in the class that you came through, Nicole?
She was in a class before me. And she was in a class before me, but she also have people that's in the trade. And it was other women in my class, but
all right. And how many in your
I was
class?
by myself.
Because I remember you would call us and look comments and things that were going on, and we just say, you know, I remember somebody had said, you know, asked you about the weekend, and you had said it went good, and they was like, well, drink a lot, and you were like, what is that?
It was so that was
Yeah.
the pre-apprenticeship week. So again, the training facility is an hour away. It's in South Missouri, like right before Hannibal. And he made the term, it was one of my instructors, drive fast and drink plenty. So I was like,
Right. You were like, does he want me to have an accident and not come back? We were like, don't worry about whatever he said. Just stay focused. If it's above your head, leave it there. Stay focused. Absolutely. But you know that program is a stringent program. And those 3 weeks where you have to go back and let's be real clear, you cannot miss one day. You cannot be late 1 minute. So absolutely. So Sharika, we know your commitment to it. Your daughters deserve it. And I have to say, for the operators and these 2 African-American female that are sitting before me today, you guys are in some high grass. My dad would call it something else. So that's one of the more skilled trades. It is one of the higher paid. Next to the electrical, it's a very well-paid profession, and it is one, as Mark says, as we're talking about preserving, that you'll be able to do because you're inside that big equipment. But it's that hand-eye coordination, and you got to be sharp and you got to be honest. So I am just really elated today, bubbling over here just to see you two. I mean, we can go down the street and you see that big equipment rolling down, and you look up and see, you know, Black female. Yes. I just have to say, the other day I was exercising, and Nicole is not working not that far from my house, and I was jogging, and I passed her. I'm on the sidewalk, and she's in the street with that big machine, and I go, oh, so we waving at each other, and I thought I should have stopped and took a picture of her, but it was nothing like jogging past, and I see, you know, on this big piece of equipment, Nicole, you know, remediating this huge hospital building. It was just an awesome thing to see you and to see you building a community in the way that you're building it. So again, I want to say, Sharika, I've seen those little babies, and I know, yeah, you got another one.
No.
Okay, I saw that one come up, so I'm like, okay, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to let you know. Also, I was there at 6:30 on that lot, waiting for them every day too.
That's what I'm talking about. Now know that when you start talking about images changing the way that people perceive us, it is nothing like the instructors of the class pulling up and seeing you as a Black female sitting in the car waiting on them to get to the class. So all of those perceptions that people are saying and that they think about, you know, our people, that one day, those 5 days, every day, that did everything to create a different paradigm shift in their thinking about us and about you. Nicole, did I see your finger? You want to add to that?
I wanted to add to that, as operators, they teach us it's only one seat, which means time is money. So it's not like the other trades where it's more than one person. So if you late, they might not see that. But you, that person running that equipment, they looking for you. So if you late, you stopping production. So they always taught us it's only one seat. So one person, they got to operate that machine. So be on time, be before time.
Absolutely. That's a good one. And that one seat got to be you. And if you're not there, you slowing everything up. Folks are losing money. We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars per hour. Yeah. So 1 minute is costing the project. Mark, you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, y'all got to be there early because how long does it normally take to even set up the machine? Like
All right.
Like right now, with it being cold, you got to warm it up, check your oil, check your fluids, grease your machine. All this was like 30 minutes before startup. So a lot of times you got to get there 30 minutes before if you don't have a ground person. When I say a ground person, it's like your laborer that helps you, sometimes I don't have a ground person, and I have to get out and do some of the things myself. And a lot of times in construction, it's frowned upon you taking somebody else's trade. Like one site, if I didn't have anything to do, I would help the laborers. I pick up something and they'll be like, "No, Nicole, that's not your job. Like, you're an operator." And I was like, "What? I ain't just getting ready to stand around. I'm a help." But they like, "No," because somebody that's in the hall waiting to be called on an assignment, that's their job to come out there and pick up whatever. And if I'm doing it, then I'm stopping them from getting out there on that job or whatever. So every trade is kind of strict. I didn't know that at first. Like,
Everybody has a lane, so that's what we say. Stay in your lane, huh?
Stay in your lane.
Even though you're trying to be helpful, you went to school to operate that machine, so stay in that machine and let that labor.
A lot of it, we hate it on the most too, for real, because we get to sit in the heat or the air sometimes. Hey, don't be mad at me because you decided to be your trade and I pick my trade.
So I'm going to say all of that math paid off, staying after school, getting those math scores up, all of those late nights working at FedEx from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., turning around and getting your son ready for school and being at MOKAN by 6:30. It all paid off. So if that
MOKAN paid off. MOKAN and 513.
If anybody can, MOKAN can. I'd like to tell the people who are with us to don't forget about us. Know that the people who are sitting before you today that you see on the screens are real people. These are people in our community. And let me be real clear. We meet them where they are, even though you heard Nicole earlier talk about marijuana and I joked about the loud and the ooey and that. Know that half the people who come in our class have some type of substance in their body when they get here. And within 10 weeks, we do enough. They see enough. They see Nicole. They see Mark. They see Sharika. They see people who look like them coming back to talk with them, to feed life into them. And we will have people through our program that's been getting high longer than they have not. So if you used to get that roach out of the ashtray of your little Uncle Kitty as he left it in the living room and you were 12 and now you 28, you've been smoking longer than you have not. And within 10 weeks, we have shown that we can expose our students to enough of who they are as an individual and help them to believe again that they have a rightful place in society and that they have something to contribute to society and to themselves, that they stop. Because in order to graduate, you have to now test negative. Now we're going to let you come in. We call it dirty, but we're going to let you come in. However, we believe in what we do and we believe enough in you that we can see within 10 weeks now your connectivity to your own life, the own essence of who you are, that you will stop and then move forward and pursue your career in construction. So we want to pause and ask for you all to continue to support us. We cannot do this without you. And we need your help. We want to be able to increase the training for more people in our community. We can only take 25 people per class. But if we were able to run a class, a morning class and an evening class, now we can double up our numbers. We can help more people. If we're able to expand into a larger facility, we can have multiple training classes occurring. And we should be able to take this model and not only have it in St. Louis, it really needs to be MOKANs all throughout various states in the United States, providing this opportunity to other women and other people of color as an opportunity to move justice served individuals into a proper place in a community and a society that is just for them. So we're asking you all to log on to www.mokanccac.org. Once again, that's www.mokanccac.org. Click the link there and please give to our cause, whether it's $5, $15, $100, or however you are led. We want to continue to train and provide doors of opportunity for more people throughout our community, more of your sons, more of your daughters, more of your nieces, nephews, people in your community. All right, so we're going to move on and bring Brother Terrell Persons Ill on the up before you, and we decided to kind of mix it up a little bit because you heard Nicole and you heard Mark and you heard Sharika talk about what MOKAN did for them, and they're all graduates. But today I wanted to have before you a young brother that caught my eye, and he is a student in class 20. And yes, we are 20 classes later, Nicole. You came in with class 1. And now we are in class 20, and I have an opportunity to orientate the first day of each class. And Terrell came in and eyes wide open, and he was, you know how you got one of those students and they cling into their every word, you speak into their spirit and their soul, and you touching them. I could tell from day one that he had charted a different path for himself. But as in most of our students, I don't know their path, their past. I don't know where they have necessarily come from, what their prior life or the life history was before they got here. But I reached out to Hanif, who does our workforce development, and many of you all that spoke about Hanif, who helps to get people placed. And he said, I think Terrell would be an excellent person to really talk about, because not only had Terrell, experienced a lot of life's challenges, he said he tried this program twice. And the third time is the charm. So, Brother Pearson L., welcome. And why don't you take some time to introduce yourself to the people who are watching you today and tell us your story.
Thank you, big sister, for the introductory. How y'all doing, world? Assalamu alaikum. For those who don't know, that means peace be upon you. I rise giving all praises to Allah. My name is Terrell Pearson Neal, and I'm here as a present student at MOKAN Institution. I'm proud to be here. The first few times that I attempted to be in this class, the first time it was overcrowded, so I was pulled out the class, unfortunately, and that kind of threw me off a little bit. It discouraged me. So I talked to a few people. I was steady trying to get myself together, and I came back again the second time. And the second time I was all for it. Life happens, things happens, and I end up catching a case. And I was charged with armed criminal action, shooting out of a motor vehicle, and unlawful use of a weapon. By the grace of God, I came from up under that charge, and I beat my case. And I made up in my mind while I was in my cell in those long, dark nights that I was going to go back and finish what I started. So here I am. When I got out of jail, I made a promise that I was going to come back to MOKAN, and that's what I did. And I was grateful that I happened to land on time as the class was just now starting, the new class. So I'm here.
So I'm going to unpeel that a little bit. So you tried twice, mm-hmm. and you ended up catching a case, and I'm one to believe that we never get away from our own selves, right? So you said you caught that case, but obviously it was aligning itself with life and maybe steps that your life took that caused you to sit still and do some self-reflection.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I'm going to add to that too, and tell us a little bit. I talked about um, just challenges, and Nicole talked a little bit earlier about her not being able to get a job because she really wasn't ready to, you know, leave those substances alone. And I know too that you've also chosen now to walk a different walk, but at one point you had a substance abuse addiction.
Yes,
And so take us a little bit into your life and what you were running from and what made you decide to you know, clean yourself up and stop using drugs.
okay, yes, ma'am. Sure thing. So we're gonna take it back to 2010. I had to be about 18, 19. I had graduated high school. I was in college. Um, and I experienced Percocets. I
Mm.
started experimenting with narcotics, and eventually that led into a more harsher drug.
Because the Percocet, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's an opiate base, so it has some of the same substances that are in heroin, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Percocets,
Okay.
Vicodins, things of that nature, falls up under the opium family, and heroin and fentanyl is part of the opium family. And through my addiction dealing with Percocets, eventually, gradually, I went off and started using heroin. You know, it's kind of difficult for me to speak about, but
I appreciate it. And I do want to, I'm going to stop you there, and I'm going to say, I appreciate you standing in this space and being this open and being this naked. And part of my desire to talk to you about it is really because we are seeing people in our community drop dead left and right from fentanyl and opiate addictions. We know that it's a cheaper drug, an easier drug for people to purchase. However, we also know that it is growing, and outside meth, that's really the number one drug in the Black community that's killing people,
mhm,
and very and highly addictive. For you to even be here today, standing on this side of it, I'm going to commend you for that, because the way that it connects with your body, and from the understanding that I have, the level of addiction to it is very high. So I appreciate, one, you standing in this space, because it will also send a message to other men and women who want to give that up, who want to choose something else, that they can,
yes, ma'am.
because you have, and that there's an opportunity for them to cross over into a life after, you know, the use of substance. So, you know, I wanted to pause there, Terrell, and commend you for being this open. As I said to you all earlier,
Thank you.
we have the opportunity to bring thousands of people over to this side because of your story. So go ahead. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Like I was saying, it's very difficult for me to speak on that subject because it's a very sensitive matter, and I've endured a lot of trials and tribulations while in my addiction. But as I study myself, I noticed that when I take myself out of my own body and project it onto others, it makes me feel better. It's almost like it's therapeutic. It heals me to know that I can help someone else, and the only way I can help someone else is share my story with them. So I'm honored that I was chosen to speak about this today, because it is very important. And it's a disease. It's definitely an epidemic, and it's killing our people. It's dangerous. I've overdosed over seven times. You know, um, I've been in the hospital. I've been in mental institutions. I've been in homeless shelters, all because I chose to do drugs. And over time, I knew what I was doing wasn't right, but the feeling of that drug felt so good to the points where it became dangerous. It feels that good to where it's dangerous, and it numbs you, and it just takes away all my pain. And I noticed that the more and more I was under the illusion that I was taking away my pain or numbing myself from my pain, the more pain that I was bringing up on my family and the ones that really love me, and on myself. So I just came up with the idea that I should just go ahead and face my problems, head on. And the best thing to do is just to embrace the pain and just feel it. Just feel it. And you have to figure out you have to have different positive outlets that you can go about, so that you can have a relief, a tool of relief, or something that you love doing that gets you high. That's not bad for you though. So I don't know what to say. I'm just going off my head.
So you're in week 2 or 3 of the program.
This is week 2.
This is week 2.
This is week 2 of the program. I love every day of class. It's something new to learn every day, and it doesn't have to necessarily have to deal with construction. We talk about a lot of things in class, life lessons, life skills, and it's very conducive and beneficial. I give honors to all my peers here and the founders of MOKAN Institute. I really don't know where would I be or what I would be doing right now if it wasn't for this program. Because I wasn't going to work no job. I haven't any job I ever had. I only worked 3 months. It don't pay that well for me to just waste my time there. But with this program here, I do see the bigger picture. I see myself in the future building homes and renovating some homes to put some homeless families in them, and also coming up with more shelters for our people. Now, I'm not racist, but I do have race pride. And every time you look up, it's always organizations and it's always these programs that benefits the Europeans, white people. There's nothing for us. Anything that we have, they always take it over. Or once they get up on their regime, they basically just count us out. We don't have nothing. And I think it's time for us to take our affairs in men. It's time to step up to the plate and show people that, hey, you can really do this. You don't have to be in the streets. You can be a street dude, but you can also be professional. You can be versatile. You can switch it up. Ain't nothing wrong with this. This is gangster. Provide making a way so that you can provide for your family, doing the right thing. That's gangster. And I'm just getting tired of the foolishness. It's just time for us to man up. And I recommend that everybody across the nation who's watching this to find them a trade or something that they can do that they would enjoy doing that can get them rich, because it's not all about selling drugs. Everybody caught up with this trap lifestyle. Everybody want to be a stepper, quote unquote, but step in the right direction then. Don't step backwards or to the left, and don't step forward and leave somebody behind. Take somebody with you.
Can I piggyback off that, Ms. Shafet?
Yes.
You know, speaking about like he's saying his family. I used to be when I was younger. You know, I was at a racial war because the white people didn't like me because I was black, and then the black people didn't like me because I looked white. So I was always like, you know, whatever, it's my choice, it's my life, you know. But as I grew older, I started realizing that like my choices in my life still affect my family. And then I wanted to say that I commend you and I appreciate you speaking on that because I too overdosed when I was in my depression. You know, I didn't really say too much about that story, but I did. You know what I'm saying? It was because like it was the weight of the world, and I was just didn't want to be here. But saying that to say that I ended up being in the hospital for a month, and it affected my daughter. You know what I'm saying? She kind of didn't really want to be around me when I came home. Like kind of like she kind of forgot me, but also going on to a positive effect of my family. Um, when I graduated my class, I had three people came to my graduation. One being my cousin, one being my second daughter's father, and the other one being my first daughter's grandmother. My cousin was so ecstatic and so proud of me. And I'm like, cousins, you act like you finna get this bag. You know what I'm saying? But he was so proud and just it lit something in him. So I just want to hit on the fact that our decisions, whether they be negative or positive, like they play a big role in the world of our community and our family. You know what I'm saying? Saying that about my cousin, he actually graduated class 17 right behind me. And when I tell you he doing this thing, he is getting a bag. You know, I got a little upset at first because I'm like, dang, cuz you're doing better than me. You only been out a month. You know what I'm saying? To see that him just watching me, that wasn't my thing. That wasn't my thinking. My thinking was for my girls. You know what I'm saying? But it also brought him up out of where he was at because he was in them streets too. You know what I'm saying? Now he got contracts out the world. You know what I'm saying? He doing his thing. So I commend you for being able to speak on that because you don't know how many people you just touched. You know what I'm saying? So
Thank you. Praise Allah.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you all sharing that because it is not every day that we can hear about people in our community who have fallen prey to some of the ills in our community, but who make it and get on the other side. And it's power on the other side because one, it's power for you, but you don't even know who else is watching you.
Mm-hmm.
Who's benefiting from you and your walk. And the beauty about being here is that people who see you, they come. So when you talk about your cousin, that's our story. Mm-hmm. People who they see Nicole, they hear about what she does. They call MOKAN and they ask, can they be a part? And it shows as people of color that it's no rocket scientist to it. We can do it, particularly when we start seeing other people in our communities who are doing the same thing. It is powerful messages between all of you all standing here today. As we know, there are people who are watching us who are struggling with addiction. Look at Terrell. Look at Sharika. Look at their examples. And they have chosen to overcome it. So know that you can as well. And know that they are still overcoming. Each day you are still overcoming. Look at Nicole. You are still overcoming. But on this other side, it's a better feeling space on this other side. It is. Because you no longer have to numb yourself to your life. You don't want to be numb when life is good. Right. You want to be alert, active, feeling every piece of it. And that's what life is for. That's why we come here. Terrell, I saw you. You want to add something else, please?
Yes, ma'am. What I want to say is this is an ongoing struggle. I've been clean for a year now. And just because that I've been clean for a year now, that doesn't mean that you get in a place of complacency.
That's right.
You don't get comfortable and you don't get arrogant and despise other drug addicts, because when I look in the mirror, I'm still a drug addict.
Mm.
You know, so it's very important that I stay humble and that I continue to live out my mission to aid and assist my people who are up under this dark cloud, because it's really an issue. This is very serious, and it's been so many overdoses, you know, and across the world. It's sad when you look it up on YouTube, and when I think about myself being in those conditions, it breaks my own heart. You know, so I just wanted to inspire some hope to some people, you know, and hopefully if I can just reach one person.
Absolutely.
I feel good about that.
Absolutely. Do you mind sharing, did you go into a treatment program, Terrell, or did you kind of move yourself through on your own?
Thank you for asking me, because that's very important. I know people want to know, well, how did you do it? Right. So I did enroll into a treatment program. I forget what it's called. I want to say the Harris House. It's on the south side.
Okay.
But anyway, I was in the treatment program. I was staying clean, and I was there for about 2 weeks, and then it's ran by Europeans, and they accused me of stealing some clothes out of the laundry room, which I didn't, and they kicked me out. Now that right there, and I was homeless. I had lost my apartment and everything because I was getting high. You know, I fell behind my bills, and so I ended up at the treatment place. They ended up kicking me out, accusing me of stealing some clothes. That right there could have made me turn around and started back getting high. Like, all right, well, forget about it. You know, I don't have any luck. You know, it's all I know. I might as well go ahead, but I didn't do it. I just I got this image of myself in my head that I just can't let go. And I just kept fighting, and it was the Muslims that helped me. I started attending the temple, and that's when I began to share my story and to stop holding it in and stop being secretive about it. And once I began to do that, God started opening doors for me and started blessing me, because now people were able to identify what was holding me down, and they was able to identify my problem and my flaws. And me personally, I like to put my flaws on Front Street. I like to give people the worst of me. I like to tell people the bad things about me before you can even hear it from someone else, because we all have flaws, and we need to highlight those flaws and try to be better people every day. Try to become the best version of yourself. And basically, I use my Facebook as a platform so that I look at myself like an advocate for reformation. You know, and I'm not trying to go off into myself. I'm just basically.
Well, we appreciate it, and I wanted you to do that so that other people can connect with themselves and have their breakthrough. Yes, you know, only thing I'm going to offer to that, instead of now having to highlight like the past indiscretions and flaws, we're gonna be able to use all of the good things and the good places that you are and highlight those and propelling you up from there. Because as I told you when we talked earlier today, your path is bright. You come into the program committed to you and loving you, and that's where it starts. Yes, being able to love yourself, commit to yourself, and your own excellence that your creator has endowed you with. And so every day, as you say, you're getting something, you're learning something. That's because every day you're desiring to get something and learn something.
Yes, ma'am.
And so your place right here today is a reflection of the way that you have embraced this program. So I'm excited about your future. I don't even know if you decide, you haven't even gotten into the hands-on aspect of it yet. So for our listeners, he's in week 2, so he hasn't even touched a hammer or a nail yet. He hasn't even done the tool identification class yet. I don't know if you've even met Eddie Hassan, because that's going to be a whole nother cool aspect of the program, because he's not going to take any prisoners. My father, and of course, the past president and CEO of MOKAN, I brought him out of retirement, a carpenter by trade. So as I am now an adult woman, it was his hands as a carpenter that fed my family and provided for my sisters and I and my mother when we were very young. So I can't wait for you to get in his class and for him to tell you to haul your ASSS. You know what that means, or for those people on the line who are watching, shaking their heads, and he tells you that, you know, our number one motto is to show up and what?
Show
out.
Show out. Exactly. So I'm excited for you, and even for our listeners and our watchers today. Know that as our students progress through our program, they also receive various certifications. We do a OSHA 10 certification. So on each project site that they work on, they will have certification with an OSHA 10 card. We also do a hazardous waste 40-hour certification that provides them the understanding of hazardous waste and material. And as Nicole is now working on a project site in which they are doing environmental remediation, she has firsthand knowledge of the different chemicals and the safety precautions with that. Our students also receive a first aid and CPR certification. So if anyone is injured on the project site, they're able to help, you know, keep those people alive until the paramedics come. We do 2 weeks of hands-on physical endurance, as Nicole talked about. Now, it's one thing that people better not ever do, and that's to judge, you know, full-size women, because Nicole ran rings around and exercise, and we do 2 days a week physical fitness and exercise and getting prepared, because that construction is physical and it's laborious, and you have to be in shape and you have to put good things into your body. So Terrell, we look forward to really good things coming from you and your classmates. I will say that for everybody who's online with us, this is our 3rd class, virtual as well as physical. So we have a hybrid. We are in the days of this pandemic, and so instead of us stopping our training, we've committed, and we have the only certified pre-apprentice program that has a certified online curriculum. So for any of those who may have friends and family members that may be interested, that now, as you've heard from Nicole, Sharika, Mark, and Terrell, know that this could also be other people in your community participating in this type of program and helping now to cast forward on the next aspect of their own lives, and as they stand in a place of being able to have good paying jobs and careers and taking care of themselves and their family. So I do want to say, and I know people probably say, well, where is Offset? What happened to Offset? So I've been over here texting our connection to Offset. He was in a photo shoot earlier, and we have gotten disconnected from him. So I have a text message here promising for him to reconnect with us. However, I don't know how he's going to pick this mic up. and take it, because it's hot right now. So he's gonna have to kick on in and do some different things from his own space. So I'm hopeful that we will be able to reconnect with him, and I will just kind of use this as a part one, because we know that he has expressed a real strong commitment to our organization, to using his platform as an African American male rapper, to connecting with our industry. And we appreciate him and offering his name and his platform. So we're going to just say that this is a part one, and ask for you all to come back again with us, and at that time I can sit back and let him be the lead voice and the host, and telling his own life and his own commitment to who we are, what we do, and why he felt a need and felt compelled to connect with us. So we're definitely appreciative of Nicole Henry. Nicole, I want to say thank you to you. You are also being recognized this year as a workforce awardee at our annual dinner that will be held virtually this Friday at 7 p.m. So for all of those people who are listening and watching and looking, please join us this Friday at 7 p.m. You can go back on our website at www.mokanccac.org and click on the tab for our dinner, our 46th annual dinner, entitled "Advocacy is Essential to Emerge Stronger." And as MOKAN has continued to be a strong voice of advocacy for Black contractors and workers in the St. Louis metropolitan area and the state of Missouri, this year's dinner is a fundraiser for our organization, but it will highlight young women like Nicole, who is also working, and I have to give a plug out with Sultan General Contracting. She's got her shirt on. Anna Marie Baker, who is a WBE, a Women Business Enterprise, is also being recognized today, who has given many opportunities to MOKAN graduates. So it does show that Black businesses support Black workers. So we appreciate Anna and Sultan and their commitment to MOKAN. So we again will encourage you all today, all of those people who are connected to Offset, to continue to be friends and connect with MOKAN, as we are committed to the community and helping to empower young people and people of color and females. So thank you again, Nicole. Thank you, Sharika. Congratulations on your apprenticeship. And we look for good things from you and the Operators Apprenticeship Program. Mark, keep on redoing this community and stepping into the space of the plumber and pipe fitter. And Terrell, your story is powerful. You got 8 weeks left, young man, but this is just the beginning to a real powerful place in your life. Again, I'm going to end with Carter G. Woodson's quote, who said that a trade for a Black man is the equivalent to a white man's doctorate degree. And he wasn't necessarily speaking of a gender there. However, he was saying and speaking to Black people with the power within our own hands and our own minds, and using our own hands and the faculties that God gave us to be a vehicle for self-sufficiency, an opportunity for you to take care of yourselves, to take care of your families, and even on a larger note, to take care of and bring up our communities. So thank you all for joining us today. Thank you all for who joined in. We will dial back to you all with our brother Offset. But thank you for staying with us. We are hopeful that the stories that you heard, the life realities of our people today and our students have compelled you to stand in your own excellence and, of course, continue to support us in our journey. Have a good night. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.